Intermittent fasting. How does it work? What is it? And can it actually help you lose weight? All these questions are going to be answered in today's video. So, let's get into it. The subject that I want to talk about today is intermittent fasting and how does it work and can it actually be beneficial towards you in helping you lose weight. But before we go into what it actually is, how does it work, how do you implement it into your lifestyle, I kind of want to talk about why you would actually use intermittent fasting in your day-to-day routine to help you consume your day-to-day calories. So in my opinion, there's only one real reason why anyone would choose to use intermittent fasting in their day-to-day routine, and that's to help control hunger and or cravings. If you're anything like me, waking up in the morning, skipping breakfast and going through to about 12, 1 o'clock is completely fine. Your hunger is at a controlled level, you're not really craving anything crap. You're usually busy with work anyway, so you've got stuff to do. And it takes your mind off the actual cravings or hunger that you have. But when you get more towards the evening, maybe you've finished work, you've come home, that's when it really starts affecting you. Because you have nothing to do, you essentially feel hungrier. And most times it's not because you are actually hungry, it's because you're bored. And for me, this is a real big issue because at this time of night, maybe around like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, I seriously get the hankering for anything crap, and I go and raid the cupboards and I just look for anything that I can get my hands on, whether it's chocolate, Pop-Tarts, cake, ice cream, it doesn't matter. Just the evening times for me and a lot of people are just the hardest point to control your cravings, and this is where the benefits of intermittent fasting comes into play. So what is it? What exactly is intermittent fasting? You see it plastered all over social media, on Instagram, Facebook, you see videos about it by online personal trainers, but what is it? So essentially, intermittent fasting is taking your window of opportunity to eat, to consume food, and it's lowering it drastically to maybe a 6 to 8 hour period rather than what your typical day-to-day period of eating is. The majority of people wake up at 8 AM and they go to bed and stop eating around 12 AM the same day. This gives you a 16-hour period of when you are allowed to consume calories. But the issue with this is because it's such a wide and vast amount of time, it's hard to kind of pinpoint when you need to put in certain meals. You can go the route of having low-calorie meals more often throughout the day, so maybe you're having 5-6 meals a day, but they're only 200, 300, 400 calories each, which may sound like a lot, but when you take into consideration that an average chicken breast contains around 150 calories, you really understand the limitations of what each of these meals can be. It's essentially just going to be chicken and broccoli, or chicken and a little bit of rice. It's not going to be satisfying to you, it's not going to help fill you up, and if you're anything like me, and this is from my personal experience, a low calorie or a small meal actually leaves me feeling hungrier than I did before I ate, because essentially, my body thinks I'm going to consume a large amount of calories, but in reality, I'm not. And another issue of having meals so frequent throughout the day is you may work a 9 to 5 job where you get an hour lunch break and a 15 to 20 minute tea break. How are you going to take Tupperware to work and consume 3 to 4 meals at work when you only have 2 breaks? Unless you go into the toilet and you're just going to sit on the bog and just munch down on some chicken and whatever it is you have, it's not convenient for you. And that's another big reason why a lot of people use intermittent fasting, is it is down to convenience as well. So the other route you can take is having fewer meals throughout the day at higher calories. So instead of 5 to 6, maybe you have 3 to 4, but they're 600-700 calories each meal. The issue with this is, again, there's such a 16 hours. If you take 16 hours and then plop a meal, 3 meals throughout that day, that's 1 meal, let's say every 5.5 to 6 hours roughly. That's a long time to go without food, and it's also a long time in order for your temptations to kick in. If you're at work and you've had 1 meal and then your next meal is not going to be for another 6 hours, and especially with Easter coming up, and you have like fucking chocolate eggs or mini eggs or Pop-Tarts, or people just bringing donuts and brownies, the temptation to consume that is a lot higher because you are still going to be hungry because you've got a 6-hour period between each meals. Again, it's not convenient for you. Yeah, you don't have to carry a lot of Tupperware around with you, and you can get your meals in, but you really think you can go 16 hours a day only consuming 3 meals and sustain it The answer is no. So is there a way to combine these together where you can have a lot of meals throughout the day at a very high calorie count? Yes, there is, and this is intermittent fasting. So take me for example. I typically wake up around 4 to 5 a.m. I go do my workout, which takes me up until about 7, half past 7, and then I won't actually eat a meal. My first meal won't be until 12, and then I'll eat all the way through until 8 p.m. that night, and that's when I will stop. So I have an 8-hour period to get in all of my calories, and I'm on about 1650 throughout the day. So what this allows me to do is have a large amount of calories per meal, but because I've only got an 8-hour window to consume them, the most I'll be waiting between each meal is round about 2 to 2.5 hours. It's pretty tiny, so there's not enough time for me to get hungry because I'm going to be eating within the next hour or so when I do get hungry. And at that rate, I'll just drink some water or I'll have a sugar-free energy drink just to kind of satisfy my cravings. Now, you don't have to go for the same times that I do. You can go from 1 till 9, you can go from 2 till 10, but the benefit with this is because you've got a shorter time to eat your food, to consume your food, you can save a lot of your food, a lot of your calories towards the end of the night, towards the evening. Like I said earlier, that most of us do get cravings. So another example is I love ice cream, and we now do this ice cream in England called Halo Top. I know America's had it for a while. The whole of Europe has now actually just got it. It's a very low calorie ice cream and it tastes incredible. Now, the calories for it are about 360. I can have one of them every single day within these 8 hours, but I would just save a lot of my carbs and fats towards the end of those 8 hours. So I'm just going to stop the video right here to make you guys aware of the premise that I'm talking about here, and that's the idea of implementing foods into your diet that you like. This is also known as flexible dieting, which I talk about in an article that you can find on my website, which you can find a link for in the description down below. I'm not going to talk about it in this video here. This is strictly about intermittent fasting, but if you do want to know how to fit in foods that you do like on a day-to-day basis without the fear of gaining weight or ruining your diet, head over to my website, read the article, it's completely free. But anyway, back to the video. So, where I say it at 12, saving my going 5, 6, 7 hours with having a mainly protein sourced meals is nothing. It is absolutely nothing. And then at the end of that time, I can have a tub of ice cream, or I can have some Pop-Tarts, or I can have some brownies or some cookies. It doesn't matter. The short amount of time that you've got to consume your calories gives you that availability that you can fit in nicer foods and control your cravings. Saying that, I do want to touch on a few misconceptions that surround intermittent fasting, and that's the whole idea that intermittent fasting is something you can go on, or it's a form of diet that you can do. It's not. Paleo, keto, low carb, high fat, they're diets, they're what you can go on. Okay? Intermittent fasting is a tool of convenience to help you control cravings, and inevitably, because of that, you end up not going over your day-to-day caloric intake, which means you'll be in a calorie deficit, which does result in weight loss. But you cannot use intermittent fasting as a reason, as an excuse to consume 3,000 calories in the space of 8 hours, and because you've done it within 8 hours, you miraculously lose weight because of it. No. And no matter how fast you consume them, or it doesn't matter what time frame you consume them in, calorie is a calorie. And it does add up. And you do have a limit that you need to adhere to every single day in order to lose weight. So yes, intermittent fasting can help you lose weight, but indirectly, it indirectly helps you lose weight due to helping you stay within a caloric deficit, a calorie deficit that will directly help you lose weight. So that's intermittent fasting 101. We've gone over what it is, how to implement it, and an example, me, of how I use it on a day-to-day basis. Guys, any questions, leave this in the comments below. If you're watching this on Facebook, feel free to send me over a message, and I'll see you next time.